We're back on a healthy dose talking about how to navigate social settings with food sensitivities and allergies. So, Behnaz, let's talk about restaurants. We've talked about families and family outings and friends, but now we're going to a restaurant. And going to a restaurant can be a whole other ballgame. I've gone through this so many times, and it's like, okay, where are we going? What restaurant? What do they have on the menu?
Yes, that's always a question. I can relate. I'm always calling restaurants before I go.
I start to do that now too. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe I should just call ahead and just save myself some of the time, right?
exactly. So calling ahead of time, looking at menus, looking at restaurants, and be very specific. This is where specificity is actually going to
Right.
be very important. Check the menu ahead of time. And that's okay. You can call and ask about certain alternatives that might have. For example, if someone has a gluten or dairy allergy or
Hmm.
intolerance, or other things like seafood and shellfish anaphylactic allergies as well,
Right.
which is very important.
Very important.
You need to call
Yeah.
them in advance because, first of all, it's perfectly fine and normal. This is going to be good for you and the restaurant and the staff,
But I think
even.
this is a big thing to talk about because I
Yes,
know for myself, again, it's the bothering thing. You feel like, oh, that I'm going to be that customer, and it took me a while to feel like, okay, this I'm paying for this meal, and I don't want to go home and be sick. And so many times I go home and I'm
exactly.
sick, and I need to just speak up. So I think
Yes,
people really need to understand that. Don't feel like you need to be quiet just because it's a restaurant and you're in public. No, you need to take care of yourself.
especially in public, because being difficult is if you are avoiding a conversation about your allergies and sensitivities,
Mhm.
and later on that can be preventative.
Right.
Later on, something happens and
Mhm.
you have health complication, you have a reaction and symptoms flare up.
Mhm.
That's way more difficult
It
for the
is.
staff, restaurant, and you to deal with. So, and there is, I would say, this is where, again, that internal mental self knowledge, that the self discernment is very important. This is your body, your health. Never feel concerned for speaking up about your health. No one's health is as important as yours because you live in your body, you're with yourself, you know your
Mhm.
physiology. And in fact, this is going to help them. A lot of people,
Yeah.
restaurants will appreciate this. They
Mhm.
ask you, they're like, do you have sensitivities? Now, restaurants and cafes that there's a culture of understanding now. We're having more conversations
And
about this.
I see
People
that.
care.
They do care, and
Restaurants
you're starting
care.
to see them going, "You know what? We've tweaked things a little bit. We're now offering this for people that
Yes.
have that problem because we've
Yes.
had so many people finally speak up." And I
Yes.
think that's wonderful,
That's
and they wouldn't know
amazing.
without people speaking up.
They wouldn't know, and they care. People care. I mean, there's
Mhm.
only very little like number of people that don't care. Just remember that people, they want
Mhm.
things. We want to feel at ease and calm, so this is going to help you. And then carry your EpiPen and your supplements. This is where
Right.
your the
So let's
stuff.
talk about that. What
Yes.
are some of the things that you should be having on hand in case you run into an issue that you
Yes.
missed?
Yes. So if you have an anaphylactic
Mhm.
reaction to something and you know this, EpiPen.
Mhm.
Carry your antihistamines, activated charcoal in case of a gluten cross contamination or a dairy
That's
cross
interesting because I never
contamination.
really thought about that. Carry charcoal. So that's
Activated
pretty
charcoal.
safe to take if you think you've had
Of course,
exposure
you
to
want to
gluten.
talk to
Check
your
your
integrative
yeah,
practitioner, medical practitioner, and your team, of
sure.
course. And yes, it is. It can be a safe alternative to
Mm,
helping you. You can carry your digestive enzymes if you're
yeah.
working with a naturopath, because we know intolerances come from also leaky gut or like gut
Let's
stuff as
talk about that
well.
too. What's the difference between an intolerance and a real allergy?
So intolerances and allergies, there's a distinct, you can make a distinction between the two, but just because there's a distinction and they're different doesn't mean they're not valid and important still to
Right.
navigate.
Mm.
An allergy could look like reacting to a protein in a specific substance or food.
So specifically a
Ye-
protein in the
A
food.
protein, a substance,
Oh,
a particle that
particle.
can
Okay.
trigger a strong, severe immune
Mm,
response that can actually have really bad health
right.
complications. It can lower pressure, your heart is going to be impacted by this, your brain, your vital organs are going to be impacted by this. You can have an anaphylactic
And
shock.
for some people, more exposure means more risk, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A sensitivity or intolerance could
Mm.
look like bloating, itchy skin, hives, still uncomfortable. It
And a
could
lot
look
of
like
digestive
headache,
issues, which is
digestive
not pleasant.
issues. Exactly. You don't want to have migraine after your
No,
food. You want to feel
no,
like you enjoy your meal.
exactly.
And if you can talk about this with people, and also carry also diamond oxidase for people with
Okay.
histamine intolerance.
Okay.
So this is where working with a practitioner will really help you navigate better.
This is important advice. So stay with us as we wrap things up.